Before I started my placement as a radiography student, I thought I was ready to go into the hospital setting. Turns out I wasn't. There was a few things that I wish I knew before I started that would have saved me a lot of stress, embarrassment, and here are a few things that I wish I knew. You don't need to know everything. And when I say you don't need to know everything, when you first start placement, it's okay to feel nervous at first. It's okay to actually just go in and get used to your environment first rather than going in and knowing everything and everything the radiographer is talking about, because them themselves don't expect you to know everything on the first day. Thinking everybody knows more than you is one thing that did set me back, because I thought everybody around me knew way more than I did, and they knew stuff that if they done their placement exam at the end, they would have been passing already. You know, everybody's on the same boat, everybody feels the same way. We're all nervous, we all don't know what's going on, we're all in a new environment, we're all trying to get used to all the routines and rules and regulations around the hospital. So everybody just knows the same, and I feel like, you know, when you first start placement, it can be daunting. When I was on placement, I didn't really think that placement was the place that I would learn from. I thought placement was just that place where we go in, we complete our clinical hours, and we leave in order to graduate. So, you know, now that I'm currently doing placement, I went in thinking this was such a waste of my time. Like, I'm literally just going in there doing this and then I'm leaving. Like, I'm not gonna, it's not gonna make a big difference to me. After completing first and second year placement, I can't say that each placement block actually does teach you a lot. It teaches you way more than university. For me anyways, personally, I feel like radiography and placement, especially when, you know, all the content is all written and words and just a load of gibberish, you know, it can go in one ear and come out the other. But when you're on placement, it actually goes in through your ear and you actually put that to practice. You start practicing it over and over and over and over again, and you actually learn about what either the radiography tutor are talking about or your lecturer. Like, I remember for patient positioning, it was so hard to learn during university. It was literally like they give you a bunch of words and you need to know all those words. So yeah, placement is where you do learn. You do learn a load of stuff. But honestly, that wasn't even the biggest shock. The biggest shock during placement is realizing that communication matters more than anything. If without communication, you can't do it. You can't do radiography, you can't do nothing. From communicating to patients, to communicating to the radiographers, to communicating to doctors and nurses. There's so much that communication ties into when it comes to doing radiography and placement. That I remember when I was doing placement back in first year, we had a patient that had an NG tube. Now, an NG tube is a tube that goes into your stomach and it feeds the patient if they're not able to feed themselves. One of the nurses accidentally put it in the wrong place, and you know, they really needed the x-rays done to be able to visualize where the placement of this NG tube was gonna go. That is really important, because that's communication between a nurse and a radiographer. Another part was when you know, I accidentally broke an equipment in the x-ray room. That was due to just lack of communication. You know, if you don't talk to other radiographers and you don't let them know about nothing, like, something bad could really happen, and it's just something you don't want to get yourself into. Another reason why communication is important is even just talking to patients as well, like confirming that they're the correct patient, asking which side is most affected, which side you feel pain on, bring out your arm, bring it in. Just simple communication like that is really important when it comes to radiography. And you know, I didn't really think about how important it was until I was on placement. I'm just never fucking with communication. I'm so worried. Like, me and communication, we tied in, we locked in. When I clock in, me and communication is like this. Do you get what I mean? I go from straight nonchalant to how you doing. Now, the next thing that caught me off guard was finishing first year semester into placement. Now, our placement block was towards the end of the year, so when we were finishing our exams, we went straight into placement, and that caught me off guard. I did not expect the early mornings. Like, we had college back in first year. I can't really remember, but you know, it was mainly like midday to afternoon, and then straight transition into early mornings every day, back to back for 5 days a week. But another thing that was tiring about placement was being on your feet 24/7, 9 to 5, 5 days a week, sprinting up and down. I will be so honest with you guys. I actually couldn't. It was just so moments where I was like, do I really need to go to this department? Can I not just stay here and do my x-rays here? Even when we were positioning the patient on our feet, everything just on our weak feet, there's a lot of movements as well, like a lot of kneeling down, crouching, you know, bending over, moving trolleys, pushing beds. There is a few products I would recommend when on placement, like, you know, Dettol soap and, you know, some deodorant, because being on placement does get really sweaty. So, and that ties into just being on your feet a lot. The thing that lastly made placement so tiring was just the mental exhaustion. Like, you are always thinking with your brain 24/7, is this patient correctly positioned? Is this the correct centering? Have I got enough collimation? Did I expose properly? Even for second year, when I done placement at the start, we had exams towards the end. Like, not only did we have placement exams, but we also had college exams as well. So not only were we studying for placement, but we were also studying for our actual college exams at the end. So, you know, you can only imagine when you finish your placement 4, 5, 6ish, come back home, you need to change, dress, eat something, and then you're straight into studying for placement, and you're also studying for your exams. So it was just really mentally exhausting. Now this was my biggest mistake, and I wish I never done this, but it was actually comparing myself to other students. Like, when I first started placement, I did not know anything. I had no clue in the world what I was doing. I was literally just there and standing like bread. I was literally just looking at the radiographers like I showed up, I'm here, what's up? What's going on? What are we doing? When I was there and I didn't know anything, I looked at other students, and all the other students know what they were doing. I always compared myself to other people when we were on placement. I was like, I wish I had confidence like that. I wish I knew this. I wish I knew all my information like the way they do. I wish I learned as quick as them. Now the final point is probably the most important, and that is ask questions. Because I promise you, like, sometimes I'd ask stupid questions, but the fact that I've asked the question, it gets retained in my brain. Asking questions also helped with my confidence when it came to, you know, immersing myself in the environment, because it lets me know that, okay, these people are here to actually help me. Like, I'm not just here to be here. And getting feedback on your work is so important. I remember back in first year placement, second year placement, every time I'd done an x-ray, I would critique it, but then I'd also ask for his for the radiographer's feedback. I would always be like, oh, this patient maybe is over rotated or under rotated, and and then I'd say, what do you think? And then he'd be like, yeah, you kind of over rotated it, but, you know, next time I'd move the feet in a bit more. Stuff like that really helps. Asking questions and getting feedbacks is so important, and showing interest is so important. That it just sets a good example for you in the hospital, and if you go back to that same hospital for an interview, they will know you for that student that always showed interest and proactive and hardworking. I'm gonna be upfront with you guys. As much as I'm saying all of this and all of that, like, I wasn't perfect myself on placement. Like, you know, there were some days I was just pissed off. There were some days I'd walk in and not talk to no one. Like, there's some days I would just sit down there and be like, I'm exhausted, I'm tired. And it's okay. It's okay to feel like that. It's okay to, you know, just take a break. It's okay. You don't have to always be, because at the end of the day, if it's placement or not, it's still work experience. You are still working, and on top of that, you are not getting paid for the work. So if you just need that moment to sit down and, you know, rest for a bit, or even just take a breather, it is fine to do that. You don't always have to always feel like you're on go for the placement block that you have. And yeah, bring packed lunch. Do not ever say you're gonna go to placement and be buying lunches there, because let me tell you something, the shops in there, they don't count for your pockets. So this is the end of the video. Just let me come on here and, you know, say the 5 things I wish I knew before starting placement, because no one told me about these stuff. And now I said, let me come on here and give y'all, because maybe some of y'all might need it. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. Thank you guys for watching, and bye.